I can't, like you said, I can't imagine what it's like to be at war with my own body.
Let me finish my statement before you start talking. Let me finish my statement before you start talking.
Keeko.
Bye, Keeko. Nice speaking with you tonight. I was being serious.
I'm not. Because I really thought I could get past it, but.
Well, I just drive safe.
Chase, would you rather?
Goddamn, it's looking a little spicy. It was good, y'all. Chat. It was good, y'all. Chat. It's your boy Kingston. We back. We about to get right into the video, man. We're gonna dissect it, chop it up. Sometimes I hate these videos. Sometimes listening to these females argue against logic, essentially. But let's get right into the video, man.
Smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay.
You really just want me to just rip you off.
Are you like, Chase, how dare you be?
Yes, actually. What the do you mean? Yes, that was
Because
so
if
necessary.
I had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man, and I don't want to do that.
The question is,
That's not what you said, though. That's fine. If that's
Because
what you
I'd
want
be
to say.
gay if I had sex
That's
with a
not
biological
gay.
man.
That's not gay.
That's
And
gay.
I don't even care if you're doing this for like whatever, but like shut the fuck up. Actually,
I'm doing
You
it
look
for
like
what-
you have a
you
leader
why- why-
respect
why
his
don't you-
street.
All right, I ain't gonna cap. She just pissed me off in the first 2 seconds. I don't know what this woman is talking about. If you have sex with a biological man, that's gay. It's gay. Look at other man, the first nigga rolling here, man. What's good, other man? Like, damn, can I get the rest of my views rolling in? But let us carry on, man. I don't know what these females be talking about sometimes.
that's too far. That's
Why
too
don't
fucking
you
far.
make
That's
me shut
too
the fuck
far.
up? Because I have an opinion that differs from yours.
Let me see.
Rage quit.
I mean, that's really
But
hateful,
she's
bro.
not. She's not. It would technically be homosexual. A trans woman is a biological man.
Eric,
It's
switch it to.
human. It's true.
Oh, actually, sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
I also
Keep
gotta
going.
go. I
It's
gotta
not
go.
fucked up. It's real.
That's
It's
his.
true.
Okay, if you guys want to
It's
respect
factual.
gender identities, that's his though. That's his sexuality.
Brother man,
I'm
brother
not allowed
man.
to say that.
Better
I'm
plan.
not allowed to say that.
From a biological woman who's even have any trans friends, that was too fucking far. A man of God who doesn't judge a Christian, yeah.
Yeah, you know what God said? It said He made them man and women. He made them man and woman. I just told you I'm not gay. I'll pass on that. Thanks, though. Who knew that stating biological facts would make people walk off the show?
Okay, it's the reunion. What do you guys have to say to each other?
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Is there anything you would have done differently in that scenario?
I wish I wouldn't have had to leave. I had to leave because I had made multiple comments beforehand. I was super late for work. No, I had said that multiple times. Let's not.
Stop the cap.
That's people even in the show had come and said that she did say multiple times that she had to leave for work. I was an hour late to work. I was supposed to leave by 10:30, and the show went on way longer than it was supposed to.
She feels so, man, this whole feels so crazy really doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, damn, just waiting for the fucking other views to roll in. But she's so damn entitled and shit. Like, she, man, let me carry on. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm tripping.
So it seemed like a good moment to exit. I wish I would have been able to stay there longer. But no, I did not feel comfortable having a conversation like that with no trans people present at the table. You can have your personal opinion. If you don't want to sleep with a trans woman, that's your prerogative. That's fine. But don't declare your opinion as fact.
It's not no opinion. It's gay. Like, if you sleep with a transsexual woman that's biologically a man, it's gay. Like, what are we arguing here? Like, am I tripping? Am I missing something?
You think that if a man chooses to sleep with a trans woman is gay, so be it. That's your opinion. I have no problem with you having.
Bro, the fact that we really gotta argue whether or not that's an opinion. If the nigga was born with a dick and you sleep with him later, whether or not he has a dick still, it's still gay. Like, ain't that the meaning of
your own opinion? But you saying comments like that on a podcast with this many subscribers and viewers hinders men who are straight, because they do exist, who choose to sleep with trans women. And if for you being some godly Christian man, I think you should learn how to keep your fucking mouth shut sometimes when it comes to those topics, because it's very hateful and hurtful. Just like how you've been giggling and sitting here across the table this whole time. If you were such a godly man who's returned his whole life around for God, you should learn for a little bit more acceptance and tolerance when it comes to these platforms. Honestly, truthfully, if you want to say that shit behind closed doors with your other little red pill friends, go ahead and do so. But just learn and recognize the platform you have and how much influence you have. There's already enough trans hate and crime out there. You don't need to influence it more, was my point. Thank you.
There's many things I could say in response to that.
Then say it.
let me ask you this. Is God tolerant?
Mm.
I think God made us all in his light. He didn't make any mistakes, right?
Now, peep how she's not. Peep how she doesn't answer the question. Is that what he asked you? That's not what he asked you. Come on, let's answer the question directly, please.
So if he created trans people, then he did it for a reason.
Did he create trans people, or do trans people choose to be trans?
Go ahead. I feel like you're better off in this one. I would rather you respond.
Okay. I was raised Catholic, and then I converted to Christianity in middle school. In the Bible, it's mainly said, God does not give you more than what you can handle. She asked me earlier, when did you know? This shit was not a fucking choice for me. I can look you in the eye right now and say this was not a choice.
So you didn't choose to go on hormones? You don't.
I did.
You
No,
didn't choose.
I did.
Hold on.
However,
You didn't choose
her
to put a.
finish.
No.
No.
No. She
Please
said
let
her
me
piece,
finish.
and I'm going to ask a couple. Let her finish, but I'm going to ask a couple questions so she can clarify. My questions are: a weave. You don't choose to put on makeup and present yourself as a woman.
So it's the same way for you, though. It's like me asking you, like, oh, did you choose to wear that shirt today? Because to you, it's natural, right? It's 100% natural. Did you choose to get a fade? Of course, because you know it looks good on you. That's you likes you. So that's everything that you choose to do, everyday hygiene to. That's your normal. To me, this is my normal. I didn't choose it. If I think like, oh, like you know what, like I like these hair extensions because they look good and because it's feminine. My energy is feminine. I hope I'm saying that right.
Okay.
But still, like it's to me that these choices. It's not like I went. It's not like I went out of my way and be like, you know what, I'm gonna wake up today and I'm gonna be a fucking bitch. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna present female. Yeah, technically,
You went out of your way to do those things.
Technically,
You
I
go out
was
of your way to
already
get a
doing
haircut.
them. I was already doing them from the very beginning. Why did I stop?
Got a technical background, looking to go remote and get paid more, become a software.
Doing it because of what other people think.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the original question. You said it's my job as a Christian, godly man to be tolerant because that's what Christians are supposed to do. My original question is God tolerant?
I think it's your job to mind your business.
No.
Now, see, this is a common thing we see in the female, the inability to answer a question directly due to emotion. Can we calm down and answer the logical question that he's asking you? Is God tolerant? And obviously the answer is no.
My question to you is,
I mean, the whole concept of religion within itself is kind of built through extremism. There's no tolerance for certain things throughout religion. That's the whole point of religion. So how could God be tolerant?
is God tolerant? You projected
Yeah,
all of these
I would say God
values.
is tolerant.
Okay, so
you educate me?
in Genesis, yes,
ahead.
I will. I will educate you on exactly what the Word of God says. In Genesis, it says that when God created mankind, he made them male and female. And in Leviticus, it says for a male to have sexual relations with another man as he would with a woman, that is an abomination in God's eyes and is worthy of being put to death.
How many times has the Bible been translated? How many times has the Bible been translated?
Is this correct?
Can you let me respond?
So when he gives his proof through the word, then her rebuttal is to discredit the Bible, essentially. Let's carry on.
If you're going to make a statement to me before you bring someone else into it, so I don't forget what I'm going to say.
I want to hear what you have to say, but this is correct, is it not?
I don't know what the words are. I don't know what Leviticus would be in Hebrew because like that's how I learned everything in Hebrew. But the biggest thing that we harp on in Judaism is a man should not lie in bed with another man, and then we take that to mean don't.
Do you guys
be gay.
know that scripture was changed so many times though? Let me finish my
This is a
statement before
point
you
that
start
people
talking.
bring
Let
up
me
all
finish
the
my
time, and
statement
it's
before
not
you start
true.
talking. Let me
It's
finish my
not-
statement.
Okay, light skin. How many times was it changed? Who was it changed by? And how was it really supposed to be interpreted? And since you know better, how about you tell us?
Before you interrupt me. Thank you.
You're making falsehoods, but go
I
on.
feel like you should let her finish.
Thank you. So the Bible has been translated. Obviously, that's not a falsehood. It was not written in English, was it? No. Do you know Latin?
It wasn't written in
wasn't
Latin.
Okay,
either.
whatever was written in.
Aramaic.
Oh yes. Okay, it was been.
Aramaic,
My whole point
Greek,
is
and Hebrew.
fucking let me finish.
You're
Jesus
trying to educate
Christ.
me on the Bible,
okay,
but
let
you
me
don't
finish.
even
Do
have
it
your most
after.
basic facts
Do it
straight.
fucking after.
You
Let
don't
me
have your
finish.
most basic
Let
facts
me
straight.
finish.
Go
You
on.
keep interrupting me. But you get so mad when someone interrupts
I'm
you.
not mad at all.
Oh.
Go on. You're just stating falsehoods and presenting yourself
your
as an
forehead
authority.
wrinkles are giving you away. So
Okay,
maybe
continue,
get some votes.
continue
Maybe
to
get
ad
some votes.
hominem
Oh,
me.
you brought them back down.
Continue to ad
Okay.
hominem me.
So what I was saying is the Bible has been rewritten so many times.
False.
It's been translated so many times.
Faithfully and accurately.
Can you tell me
Okay,
stop
let
fucking
her
interrupting me?
finish. Like
He's
she
interrupting
let
every
you.
word I say, dude.
Okay, just continue.
Like
Go
everything
ahead.
I talk, he's interrupting me every word. If I do that, you would get on my case.
You both interrupt. It's a conversation. Just go ahead. Go ahead, Keeko.
The Bible has been translated multiple times, and there is proof and evidence stating that most of those translations from those scriptures, they were actually saying a man should not lay with a child. It was not man and man. A lot of things have been translated because there's so much P word that runs through the church that
What? What? Somebody please correct me. What is this bitch talking about? The scripture never said a man shouldn't lay with a child, although a man shouldn't lay with a child, but the scripture said a man should not lay with another man. Where is she getting this information from?
they do things. Oh, are we talking like that? It's not in the Vatican. There's not. We
I
don't have
speak
these things.
Hebrew.
happening?
I'm sorry, I,
know where
can't
you-
listen to that false. I learned the Bible in the original language that was written. I learned in Aramaic and I learned in Hebrew, and it's never a child. It's a man should not lay in bed with another man. And so Jews don't even share
Why white girls always on here showing the black girls off? Because she's spinning a little facts right now.
beds, like on sleepaway trips. If we went on overnight, Jews, 2 guys are not allowed to even share a bed for a sleepover because it's that serious that it also even more so means that you should not do anything gay. But the in the church, that's a whole different issue, I think, than this specific issue of like, is being gay right or wrong, is being trans.
Let's
My whole
stay
point.
away from
Okay.
that
Anyways,
topic,
my whole.
guys, but go
Thank
ahead,
you
Keeko.
for your information with that. I've read things that differ in.
See, so when Shorty corrects her, she has to just take her elbow. When the nigga tells her the facts, she wants to get argumentative. You see how women react towards males criticizing them? It's blasphemy.
Even
man.
in church, the churches I've gone to have said things that differ. So I would like to talk more about you with that. But overall, my whole thing is I don't think in God's light would he want you sitting here shaming people more for what they're doing. What they're doing is not affecting you in your life. So why don't you just mind your fucking business instead of spewing hate on a podcast with
Bro, speaking truth is not spewing hate. If you are a man and you sleep with a biological man, you are homosexual. I don't care which way you try to flip it. That's just what it is. I'm not saying that something's wrong with it. I don't agree with that way of life. I don't think it's okay, but I don't care what people do.
so much influence on people. Let them live their lives.
Okay,
Just let
so
them live.
so just
Why
really
do you
one
care
quick-
so much? Why does it bother you so much? Are
one
you
quick
attracted
thing,
to them
one
and it
quick
makes you
thing,
feel
one
some
quick
type of way?
thing.
No.
Is that what it
Chase,
is?
Chase,
You
one
seem
quick
you
thing.
seem
I'm
more-
going.
See, and then-
It's time to start. You're ready to start.
And then she gets to deflecting, talking about are you attracted to them? Or you make it feel some type of way? Shut up. You know he's not attracted to guys. He's just spitting facts in your face, girl.
Reliability.
I'm going to respond to that, but Brian, go ahead.
One quick thing. So I would like to try to direct the conversation. I mean, we can have a theological discussion about
No,
what the
before
Bible
you
says,
do
but-
that, this is not about me shaming people. This is not about me doing anything like you just described. I stated biological facts, and you have a problem with me stating biological facts. And the facts that I stated is for a man to have sex with a trans woman, he would be having sex with a biological male, which is cool. That is what I said. That is all I've ever said. I haven't sat on this podcast shaming people, being hateful towards people. I've stated very basic facts. And you sit on the other side and you're like, you can't do that as the supposed godly Christian man. You need to be tolerant towards people. It is our job as Christians to align ourselves with the word of God. It is also our job to, as Jesus said, make disciples of the nations and to share the word of God. And you make all these statements about Chase. You can't be judgmental towards people. Jesus told us we are to judge. We are in this life to judge with righteous judgment, and whatever judgment we apply towards others, we will be judged by that exact same standard with which we judge others. It's not a Christian's job to just walk around the world and be tolerant. It's a Christian's job to combat evil and to combat falsehoods. Okay, and for you to say, oh, it's so hateful and intolerant, and you're trying to shame people who want to make these decisions, it's none of these things. I'm simply speaking truth.
May I add to that as well, that part of what your explanation was that the Bible has been mistranslated over thousands of years and that it's this game of telephone and we've actually lost the authenticity of the message. That's completely untrue. And it's proven to be untrue by the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I highly encourage you to look at the Dead Sea Scrolls and look at the Hebrew that people have so basically what happened was we found old manuscripts that were thousands of years old in an old cave somewhere in Israel or something
in
like
the
that.
40s too.
In the 1940s. And what we found was that they had been saved through time in these clay pots. And it's an amazing story, actually. You should read into how we found these, because some kid was playing around in a cave and he found these clay pots and they had the manuscripts of the Bible within them. And what we found was when people much smarter than me and you translated these documents back into English today, and it matched up perfectly with what we have from the Bible.
There's no way to make
right
a
now.
100% perfect translation, though. No matter.
But
I've seen them in
Not
person. I went to
possible.
this museum in the
It's not
Dead Sea.
possible.
After everything that Dee just said, her first move is to still try to discredit the Bible and then try to discredit the translation. That's not how it works. Just admit you're wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too educated on Dead Sea Scrolls, but if these people had the information and they put it in your face, why not accept that?
Speak
That's
Aramaic, you read it, and it's the exact same text from like 3,000 years ago that they found at the bottom of the Dead Sea with ancient Egyptian chariots from the same story. And a big thing is, like, if you look at the Torah and as instead of it, or the Bible for the English word, if you look at it as a history book instead of just a religious doctrine, it's historically accurate. The things that are written in the Bible are what have happened. You can go and find ancient ruins confirming all the things. Even I went to Israel, I saw all the Jesus things, the St. Peter Apostle, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but like, it's a historical text document. So I think it's two different arguments, whether it's like, has it been properly translated and are you spewing hate? But I wasn't here for that, obviously.
Okay, let me try to direct the conversation a little bit, because we are
Just
getting a
like
little bit into semantics. Let's talk about the main thing, though. So basically, Chase is saying, you guys said that you disagree with Chase's statement about that
being.
Yeah.
You disagree with that.
I think it's an opinion.
It's a biological fact.
No.
What the fuck?
It's an opinion.
Why do you disagree?
So as a trans woman, there's these things that we encounter.
Wait, you got to speak. You got to
There's
speak.
these things that we call chasers. Okay.
Okay.
Chasers.
Unironic, named after Chase.
Wait,
Yeah.
like
Great.
No, not
Chase.
I'm
Are we
not saying
talking
this.
alcohol? Are we talking about
No,
like
I'm talking about there's like they're called chasers, like basically men who specifically seek out trans women for their genitals because they like femininity, whatever.
Because they're gay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. No. Let me finish. There's categories to this shit. There's categories to this shit, and let me finish. That's gay. You're going after for the chick with a dick. You want to play with her dick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but there's categories to this shit.
When you say it's gay, she doesn't get mad at you. But when I say it,
because I
You
can
are
say
so
it.
ignorant.
But
You
I'm
are
saying
so
there's
fucking
categories.
ignorant.
There's categories
There's
to
no
this
hope
shit.
for you. There really isn't.
There's straight categories to
pray
this
for
shit.
whoever marries you.
Because if there can literally be a guy, let's say let's say for in some crazy world, or no, let's say fucking speaking like real world shit, whatever. Sorry.
Let's go.
So let's say let's say for you example, or let's say theoretically, I'm just using an example, okay? I'm not saying you in general, just use an example. You see a beautiful woman, she's like 5'4", she's like beautiful, and you didn't know that she was trans, and let's say she's fully operated. You find her attractive, right? You don't know she's trans. You're attracted to her femininity. And because you're attracted to her femininity, you didn't know that she was a guy. That's a completely different thing. That wouldn't make you gay to find her.
Bro, mistaking a biological male for a female because he's disguised as a female, which is literally so that you do mistake him for a female, is completely different from sleeping with one of these people. Mistaking a guy for a girl that misled you to believe that they're a girl is one thing. Sleeping with him is gay. I don't know what point she's trying to prove. That's those two completely different extremes.
Attractive.
Thank you.
But to have
I
sex
need to
with
weigh
her,
in.
But to go
would
to
be-
but to have sex is a little bit more different because some men
Still
can look
biologically
past
a
the
man.
fact.
So
Can I weigh in
if
on
you
that real
if
quick?
you end up I know now you're saving yourself for marriage, but beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
if you found out that one of the people you had slept with actually was a biological male
You
and
find that out
trans-
right away.
Bruh,
it's not the
you
same.
would be
It's
able
to
surgical.
tell.
and
It's
you
a
also
surgical difference.
you can tell.
It's
They
not.
flip it
You
inside
can't
out.
always-
You can
That's
tell.
You
ignorant.
can't
You
make a
cannot.
vagina in
Listen,
a lab.
listen,
You
you
can't
know.
always tell. That's
Listen to
so
me, Keeko.
ignorant.
I'm loving the fact there's a woman on the other side, because if it was just straight men, they wouldn't be listening to shit that she was saying. I mean, that they were saying. But that's true. You can most definitely tell when you get to up close and personal whether that's a male or a female. I mean, me personally, especially.
That's so
And Allie,
ignorant. You can't
Bruh,
always
as a
tell.
man-
you think a guy wouldn't be able to tell a biological woman from somebody who's
Oh,
had
you'd be amazed.
from somebody
You'd
from,
be amazed.
if you're
No.
sober,
Yeah.
if you're
No.
sober,
No.
seeing
Right. I
biological
was just about to say that if you're sober, maybe at that hen dog, I don't know. You might have to just take your on that one. But otherwise than that, like, let's be 100. There's so many differences between the male and female that even surgery itself would never be able to fix. Not fix, but would never be able to make, almost the same. Essentially, it's never going to be possible.
woman versus somebody who's had their, down there hacked apart and re-sutured together.
Listen,
bro, you'd be
You
able to
guys
tell.
are
Listen,
something
listen.
fucking
No,
else,
listen to me.
dude.
Listen to me.
Something fucking else. I can't.
You can
It's
God,
tell.
You guys, do you hear this, God? Do you hear how
What?
your people are?
He
He
does.
said,
He
don't
does.
mutilate your body.
Let's, as a man,
He keeps on calling upon God and doesn't even understand the Bible. Like, shut up.
I can tell.
We can
I
remove
know.
religion from this conversation, but
But
Yeah.
yeah,
You can't-
religion
that's
religion
religion.
completely removed. All right. Last summer, I went to Thailand with my friend.
We already heard this.
There's 30% of the women, 30% of the men, I should say, convert into women, making 15% of the population ladyboys. All right. It's like a third gender because of how prevalent it is. Let me tell you, I know when they're a ladyboy. They're very convincing. They are very convincing. They get their Adam's apple shaved down. They get their jawline shaved down. They do everything to present themselves as a woman. Actually, the most expensive thing that they have to go through is getting their. And so they don't. And so they don't do that. But let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Fucking done again, dude.
As a man, I know that that's a dude. It doesn't matter how feminine they
Wait,
present
before she
themselves.
rage
It doesn't
quits,
matter.
I want to know what specifically is making you upset.
Yeah.
It's just, I just can't believe that people.
You're upset because I
No,
know
wait, I
that
wanna
trans
hear what
women
she
are.
says. I wanna hear
that's-
what she
that's not
says. Why are you
I
upset?
what I'm saying. It's just the laughing, the giggling, it's a joke to you guys. And this is
She's so triggered. She must have like a trans friend or mom, brother, something.
people's lives. The people wake up like they don't feel like they're in the right body. And I work with kids. I've seen the children. It actually affects.
That's gender dysphoria. That's exactly what gender dysphoria is. You wake up, you don't feel like you're in the right body. It's a mental issue. It's not something we need to affirm.
People, and the suicide rate in the trans community is already so high, and this podcast has so many.
Oh my gosh. Stop acting like this one singular podcast is about to affect the suicide rate. When people get to that point, they already have numerous other mental issues that led them to that point. You're not gonna listen to a podcast and go kill yourself. Don't try to blame the podcast. These people are already struggling with their identity in the first place. That's what's causing all the self-harm, mental issues that they're going through. Like, let's not make it seem like having these conversations is what's causing the suicide rate to do what it's doing, because that's not the case.
Fucking views, and you guys get up on here and just shit on them and just laugh all fucking time. It's hateful as.
Telling the truth isn't shitting on anybody. Like, she's upset. He said if a biological male sleeps with a female, he's gay. I mean, not a female, a trans female, which is a biological male, that makes him gay. And that's just the truth. It's not like, if that's not the truth, then I don't know what is.
Just let them fucking live their lives.
That's not
If they're
what we're
not
doing.
choosing, if they're not bothering you, if they're not trying to trap you into sleeping with them, just let them live their fucking lives. They're not
Okay.
bothering you. Why does it affect you so much?
Okay. Those are good questions.
No, it's ridiculous.
Please-
Grow up,
please-
mature.
Please let me respond to you.
Go ahead.
Please let me respond to you. Those are good questions. Why do we care so much if it affects us? And also, calling out the insensitivity. Look, I have I don't know what it would be like to wake up every day and to feel like I was born in the wrong body. Okay. I don't know what that would be like. And for people that are in that position, I have compassion for them. I can't
You
imagine.
don't. If you had compassion, you wouldn't be doing half the shit that you're up here
I'm
doing.
laughing.
So don't fucking
I'm
lie.
laughing at how callously he's saying.
No,
chop
you've been
their
laughing
dicks
at all
off.
podcasts at jokes. What were the jokes you laughing at
Keeko,
about?
Please just let me respond. I have compassion for people that are in that position. Okay. And people like that need help. Okay. And our society has different philosophies in terms of how we can help people like that. You have like people on the left that want to do so-called gender affirming care, in which people do get operations where their bodies end up mutilated, and a lot of people end up severely regretting it after the fact, and those people end up suicidal. I read their stories all the time. Stories of men.
Detransitioners exist, but that's not.
Hold on. Let me just make my point. I read a story on Twitter a few months ago of this guy who had his penis surgically removed, and he woke up every day and was horrified at the decision that he had made with his life, and he wanted to kill himself. And the reason why someone like me cares is because this ideology, you say let these people live their lives. How does it affect you? This ideology is penetrating all across our society, and kids are now becoming propagandized with this.
The kid that you were talking about would have never thought that way before if they weren't exposed to it at a very, very young age.
She just said that she had no idea what that term was.
Let me just finish my point. You guys can respond. If you look at the statistics of people that identify as LGBTQ right now compared to previous generations, it is exponentially increasing, because it's not just people living their lives. It's kids going to school, public schools, and their teachers telling them, hey, yeah, you can be a boy if you want to. Hey, yeah, you can be a girl if you want to.
People learn that they wouldn't get
Keeko, please
killed.
hold on. Please hold on. Please, I will.
You're
I will
long-winded,
listen.
sorry.
I will listen to what you have to say. I'm making important points here. Kids in that position.
You know, this is one thing I want you to understand about the left and the right. Regardless of whether they're left and right, we can see where both of these groups' values or morals stand. And you see how on the left, not literally on the left, but the Keeko girl, and the other transgender folk, female, male, female, whatever they were born as, what I really don't know. But you see how emotional these people tend to get and erratic about the whole, when it comes to these conversations. You can't ever just have a logical conversation. Now, observe how whoever Chase, bro in the gray, and the female in the pink have kept their composure this entire conversation. Why? Because they know they're speaking facts, and they know that when it comes to having these conversations, people more so on the left side, people that are just so gender affirming and whatever it may be, they know these people tend to get erratic and emotional in having this conversation. So you can't even just be straightforward to them. You have to break it down like you're speaking to a child. Which is what Chase is doing right now.
They're being told by authority figures, hey, yeah, you're actually a girl. Those kids then are getting funneled towards getting irreversible procedures done, and irreversible hormone therapy, and puberty blockers, and all this kind of stuff. And it completely stunts people's.
See, and that's another thing too. They try to throw out all these lying ass statements that they think are facts. Puberty blockers most of the time are not reversible, and puberty blockers haven't even been used to castrate children. And this is the first time in history that we've been using puberty blockers to castrate children. There's not enough research there's not enough longevity research on this topic, on these puberty blockers that they're using to really be able to tell the true lifetime effects that they're going to have on these children. This is relatively a new thing. Some of these puberty blockers they used to use to castrate what's the word I'm looking for? They used to use these puberty blockers to castrate sexual offenders that were sent to prison and whatnot. Now we're using it on children. For what reason? I have no idea.
Development irreversibly, okay, and you can go off
As
of
soon
them.
as you stop off
You can go off.
Yeah.
You can go off of them, but it changes people's
I
development.
did research all day on this actually, so don't correct me on that.
Okay.
I made a video on this for a news company. But
See, instead of citing where she got her research from, or citing literally any author, any psychiatrist, any doctor, she decides to, I did my research on this, so don't question me. I can't be wrong. That's not how you have a conversation. And if you did your research on it, then present the research, present the facts. We want to hear the facts, not just your word, not just your mouth mumbling. We want to hear the facts. Then why? There's not enough research on these type of things. They're all relatively new, and the research is changing day by day. So you can't definitively say that this is something that doesn't affect your biology forever. Especially when you get off of these things, you don't know how your body's going to react to that. Let's not pretend like we do.
The point is it is affecting a lot of people, and a lot of it is propaganda as well, and it is changing people's lives irreversibly, and children are ending up mutilated as a result of it. And on top of that, a lot of these transgender procedures and surgeries do not significantly affect the suicide rate. A lot of those people still are after the fact, and it's not care that's effective.
So
You understand what I'm saying?
I think that there should
Why
be
I care about this?
There should be. I don't think that you should just be like one day be like, oh, I believe I'm a woman, I believe I'm a male, and you should be able to walk in and just get procedures or get hormone blockers or
Do you
get
think
things.
kids should be able to be
No.
propagandized in school? About it?
Propagandized. That's a very strong word.
Teachers telling
I feel-
8-year-olds you can
If
be
a
a girl
teacher
if you
is
want.
saying,
that
if
okay?
a teacher is telling kids it's okay to feel the way they're feeling, I think that is important. Yes. No, I don't think they should be saying, oh, you need, change
It's not
genders.
just
There's
teachers
also a
telling them
very
it's
big
okay to feel the way you
difference, though,
feel.
in a teacher comforting a kid and be like, you know what?
Oh my gosh, these commercials.
This
Come on.
game, you're not ready.
It's not the shame, like, you know, it's okay, I understand, whatever. But if a teacher's purposely going out of their way to be like, explain that kind of stuff, okay, yeah, I get it.
Not for a
But if a
classroom.
kid, if I, for example, me, if I was let's
Closer to the mic.
rewind to 10 years ago when I was like 12 or 11, whatever. Let's say if I went to my teacher, my counselor, and be like, you know what, I'm having these feelings and I don't know if they're right or not. And if she would have been like, at least, I'm not saying she's not encouraging me, but she's like, you know what? She's not, what's the word? She's not discrediting me either. She's not shaming me. She's not doing anything else.
Discouraging, not discrediting.
There's a big difference between the two.
But I don't think it's a teacher's place, and hopefully we can all agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
Sex and body images and identification should not be the teacher's place. That's between parents. And I think there's a big problem with the way that it's targeted our children in school.
She's so logical. Like they just made her a little like 2 times more attractive to me, and I don't even like white girls. You hear me? I don't play in the snow, but she got it.
Schools and the way that the government has become the parents for society. So I think there were two very unique issues. And I think after 21 or 18, whatever, if you can go buy a handle of tequila, you can technically, legally do what you want to your body. But should you is a very different
So under
conversation.
18, you need parents' consent to do any of this, unless you're illegally consenting it. I looked up all day and all the last 2 days since I knew it was coming back. I looked up this all day and
They're
night.
trying to
How-
change those laws.
There's also
and I don't agree with
situations
that.
where the parents can be divorced and they only need one parent to
Yeah, and that,
And they
I,
can-
that's
and
I
it's-
think that
and
it's
it's an
against the other
8-year-old.
parent's will.
I would say that's wrong. I would say that's
feel-
innately wrong. I would think you need a parent's consent, but they're not. I think his name was DeSantis or whatever from Florida, is making
Ron?
it seem like
Good old Ronald
DeSantis,
DeSantis.
the governor of
DeSantis,
Florida.
Yeah, sure. He's making it seem like everyone's just going out here and just getting all these mutilations and gender reconfirming surgeries. That's not happening. The numbers are very, very low. The only one that is becoming kind of prevalent is double mastectomies, because it's really hard for them to stop that because it's an actual medical procedure. So it's hard for them to block that from happening. But in order, performing surgeries.
Yet.
And I'm
Yet.
not pushing for that to be, but that's not a problem
No.
we
But
have
that-
right now.
that-
The trans
So don't worry
community
about it.
is
It's not a
all of
problem.
them, of course, but there is a large group of people who are pushing this, like the Pride Parade. Ron DeSantis just canceled. He said you will be charged. It will be illegal to sexualize children. To have a Pride Parade. There's no nudity, none of this. They canceled the Pride Parade because they said we will not be able to do what we want to do, which is sexualize children. So I think it goes hand in hand. Ideology down our throats. You do it with the children and you take away the parental rights in school and parental decisions. At the end of the day, the kids are the most important part of society. And I hope at the very least we can all agree that when you're an adult and you have your own decisions on your own body, you can do what you want and what you truly believe in. But why should a parent even be able to consent to their 12-year-old getting hormone change or getting on puberty blockers? If an adult, my mom could not consent to me drinking.
So
a
you
handle
can't
of
start
tequila
hormones
at
until you're
15.
14. You can't start hormones until you're 14.
Okay.
That's how it is. You can do puberty blockers before that point because puberty blockers are reversible. It's the minute you stop puberty blockers, you will go through your natural biological puberty. The only side effects we know right now is it might affect maybe your cholesterol or your bone density, but you will go through all your puberties once you stop puberty
But
blockers.
But why would you
hold
start
on,
and
Sam,
then
Sam,
stop?
really quick.
Because-
I don't think I just want to check you a little bit on this. I don't think puberty blockers are reversible.
They are 100%.
I
looked this
don't
up
think
all
so
day.
either, but I'm
I
taking
looked
your
this up
word
all
for it.
day.
I've heard many times that they're not.
I've looked this up please do not discredit me, because I spent, as soon as I knew I was coming on, you invited me back on.
Bro, how are you talking about please do not discredit me, but you haven't given us any type of reason to credit you? There's no sources. There's no, where did you get your research from? What paper did you read? What university studies have you looked over? Like, this isn't, you're talking about please do not credit me, but the best thing you can tell us for a source is trust me.
Spent a lot of time
It's
researching
still-
this.
it's still-
They are reversible. Hormones are not reversible. You will see the changes go away if you stop taking them.
For the
But
record,
puberty block.
for the record, I've heard numerous times that puberty blockers are not reversible. So I'm gonna go with that. But if she's right, she's right. But I highly doubt that she is.
Blockers are 100%
Going
reversible.
through
They
puberty
just
at
stop.
14 versus 17 or 20 is a very big difference, though. I don't know.
But it just,
That's not
delays
biologically.
puberty. It just
You
delays
can't
your
delay a
why would you
natural
wanna-
biological function, though.
That's what a puberty blocker is.
Why
And
would
that's
you wanna-
toxic
there's-
poison.
And that's another thing. You cannot delay a biological function. Like, so what are you telling me? If you're on puberty blockers until you're 25, you start puberty at 25? No, that's probably not how that's gonna go down. And I'm pretty sure enough people have been through that process and stopped being on puberty blockers at a later age to know what the long time effects are. But I could be wrong. But once again, I doubt that I am.
Everyone,
big pharma pills.
everyone, please,
TNRH is what it's
Keeko,
called.
Keeko, please. There is a larger overarching point here, okay? Which is that 10 years ago, if you spoke to somebody and you said, hey, yeah, 10 years from now, like a bunch of kids are going to want to become trans, they would have been like, yeah, you're out of your mind. That's not happening. And look where we are now. Kids, there's millions of views on TikToks from these trans people that are telling kids things that are giving them gender dysphoria. Teachers in schools have rainbow flags up on their walls, and they're telling it's not just kids.
A rainbow flag
Hold
does
on.
not make a kid be trans.
Please just listen, okay? Please just listen. There's a difference between what you were saying a moment ago, which is like, you know, if you had gone to a counselor and you had gender dysphoria and them hearing you and just like being like, hey, like I hear that you feel that way. There's a difference between that and a kid going to a teacher and being like, hey, you know, I have this confusion about my gender, and the teacher being like, yeah, well, you can be a girl if you want to, because that's what's happening right now. And to what Deborah was saying a few moments ago, this is a tide that is quickly rising in our society. And 10, 15, 20 years from now, who knows how much access kids will have to these surgeries? Who knows how many millions of kids are going to be mutilating their bodies because of this ideology? It is just continuing to grow and grow and grow and grow. And it's not stopping. A couple of years ago, the World Health Organization released guidelines for European educators, instructing them to teach kids between the ages of 2 and 8 years old about masturbation and gender fluidity. There's an intentional agenda to push this trans ideology on humanity right now. And you say right now it's not as.
And we have to all agree upon certain points. There is no need to be teaching kids about gender fluidity and masturbation at these ages. Those are things that they'll figure out themselves. I don't think any of us had a problem figuring it out, right? I mean, if you did, you did, right? But I'm pretty sure the mass majority of the population I didn't have a problem figuring out, hey, I'm a boy, and hey, I'm a girl, and hey, I like this and I like that, and this does that. Nobody has a problem figuring out how to do what they do. So why do we teach something that is already, innate to nature?
Big of a problem as people make it out to be, that these surgeries are super rare. What about 20 years from now? Where is all of this going?
I'm not saying there
And
shouldn't be regulations.
How big of a catastrophe is this going to be for our entire civilization? I know you think it's hateful. I know you think it's hateful for me to speak against this and be intolerant and all of this kind of stuff. The reason I'm doing it is because there are serious human casualties as a result of this. And I speak up against all this out of love. Who's died? All of the people that have gotten transgender surgeries and then regretted it and killed themselves after the fact.
How about all the people
That's
who have
who's
been
died.
prevented from getting the help they need? And killed themselves
Transgenders
because of
have
it?
the same
thing.
suicide rate as Jews in Nazi Germany in concentration camps. You can't tell me transgenders in America are treated worse than Jews in Nazi Germany. And the suicide rate is the same before and after gender transition surgery.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
listen, I have a different take on
Meaning that
this.
it makes no
I don't
difference.
say this stuff because I want.
That is absolutely interesting. So that shows that mentally we're getting, I don't want to say softer, but mentally we're being led astray, because that is absolutely ridiculous. There should be no way that they're even comparable in suicide rates, giving what they had to endure, comparing to the freedom that we have as a luxury.
want to be offensive or hateful or get clicks or views. I think that this is a very sensitive issue, and just like abortion, it needs to be spoken with the highest level of respect and sensitivity, because I feel for these people. I can't, like you said, I can't imagine what it's like to be at war with my own body and to not feel comfortable with my own body. I've dealt with insecurities. I couldn't imagine it being deeper than that. I truly feel for these people, and I want them to receive the care that they need on an individual basis. But when it comes to children, we need to protect children from this ideology.
Yes.
And I think those are two very different issues that get conflated together. Like, oh, if a 35-year-old wants to do whatever they want, that's up to them. But speaking on children, nobody under 18 should be mutilating their body, even if their parent consents, because they're children. I think your brain's not developed till you're 25. I know, that's what I'm saying. That I think a lot of the argument comes from people talking.
People want to take like this is where the generation has forgotten what parenting is. You don't allow children to make their own decisions. That's what your job is as a parent. You don't nowadays people want to allow children to just do as they please and go about how they feel. But that's your job as a parent to make these decisions for the child. This is why they're not legally old enough to do anything. But I guess they're legally old enough to mutilate themselves. But hey, what do I know?
About different things. Like, we're talking about kids a lot, and I think we need
I
to
know
clarify.
you never said that they should, but there's a lot of people who want that for kids.
Okay, that's what we're talking
Hold
about
on.
here.
You wanted to go. Go ahead.
So where my
Wait,
stance
into the mic,
where
please.
my stance comes into this with the whole children thing is that we never once brought up kids. We brought up the fact about a man saying if he's gay or not.
I agree with you. Let's try to stick to that one.
That's the whole point of me sticking to
Yes.
that. However, when it does come to kids, because it was already brought up, whatever, do I agree that like trans needs to be like in everybody's face? Absolutely not. However, I'm also not saying that if a kid comes and asks for help because they're feeling certain ways, I feel like those resources shouldn't be shunned.
See, okay, they're speaking. Let me turn this shit off. What the fuck? See, they're speaking on help and resources as if it's the only type of help and resources that you can give is by affirming that the gender, whatever the gender that they think they are, instead of reiterating the fact that they're a boy. Wouldn't that be a better solution? Wouldn't that be a better? They're only speaking on the help that would affirm whatever gender that the child would think that they are, which is ludicrous.
I feel like they should be available.
Like therapy.
What do you mean those
yes,
resources?
those
Like
resources.
evaluation.
What resources?
Like, for
Yes,
example, when
psychological help, absolutely.
Exactly. So because, well, let's be honest. A couple of years ago, trans wasn't so accessible. Is the word? I don't know the word.
Gender affirming care
No,
wasn't
it wasn't
a thing.
so. It wasn't so easy to grasp onto. In other words, it wasn't easy for me to get my hormones. It wasn't easy for me to get anything. I had to go to therapy for months just to prove that I wasn't crazy.
But now it has. You recognize that now it's become so easy.
Yeah, so I recognize that now, especially now, because even not even just kids, but like, for example, gay men, they see the dolls. We got all the trade. We have all the blue check marks. We got bodies on bodies on bodies.
Certified baddies 24/7.
Exactly. And some gay guys will literally transition just to pull straight men. Yeah. And then they'll literally.
Don't you think that that's like a point proving his point?
No, but
he said that's
something
wrong.
That's my point. Like that, I feel like when people do the hormone replacement therapy, it needs to be taken seriously. Yeah. It shouldn't be so easily to grasp onto.
I have a question
I respect
for you.
that, and I don't think you guys.
When it comes to the gay men too, it's like you guys do these things, and you guys all get all these straight boys, and I have all the straight men, whatever. Then what happens after? Those are the transitioners.
So
those are the people who regret getting the gender affirming surgery and ass and titties and growing out their hair.
It's not just gay guys.
Yeah. If they do it for the wrong reasons, do it because you genuinely feel like this and not because you're trying to get attention.
Do not go to fabletters.com. Do not take our historically low offer. 2 for $24 short.
But that's new. I haven't heard about guys, but I believe it.
So, question for Keeko. Kind of the original thing was trying to direct it back here. Is Chase said that his view is that it would be homosexual, it would be gay for a biological male to sleep with another biological male. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I do not find it gay if a biological male chooses to sleep with a trans woman.
No. Hold on.
It's not whether or not you find it gay. It's whether or not it is like the homosexuality isn't a thing where it's like I find it that this person. No, there's a hard line on what it is, and that's what it is. The definition of it is same sex intercourse or same sex. What's the word? Fucking same sex. What's the word I'm looking for? I just lost my mind. But I get the fuck I'm saying. Like there's a hard line to what this is, what it is, and what it isn't.
Just a point of clarification.
That's my answer, Brian. That's my answer, Brian. That's my answer, Brian.
Let me revise.
Get her off the show.
Is my question a little further? Is it homosexual or is it gay? Again, I'm not saying it's wrong, but is it gay or homosexual for a biological male to sleep or have sex? Well, is it gay for a biological male to have sex with another biological male?
I feel like you need to answer this because I don't know. I feel like you're based.
I already answered the question.
She's not trying to answer the question.
They are a trans woman in touch with their femininity. They are can't even say the word. Projecting themselves, the female, feminine woman in society, and that's what they're attracted to. No, Brian, you can ask me the question as many ways as you fucking want. You've asked me this 3.
She said so as long as they're projecting themselves as a female, they're not gay for that. You can project yourself as whatever the fuck you want to project yourself as, but the truth is you are what you are. So that doesn't quite make sense.
3 times
And
over on
let's
this
be real,
podcast.
that's only
That's
gay
not an
after
answer.
their dick.
Though. That's not hormone.
Let's be real.
or
It's like it's only gay after
chromosomes.
their dick.
Yes. I mean, if you want a lady boy who's known as a lady boy, who still has that,
It's only
then
gay after their dick. Like, let's be real. Like,
Okay.
if a guy literally
See,
was
but that would minimize the whole entirety of being a man to just having a dick. I'm pretty sure if the next guy lost his meat tomorrow, everything else and every other cell in his body would still indicate that he's a man. I'm pretty sure when you die and your body decomposes, you don't keep your meat. So why can we still identify skeletal remains as male or female? I wonder why. I wonder how.
harassing you because you had a penis. Sorry,
Okay.
bro, you're fucking gay. Like,
Listen,
go get a guy out there. I genuinely want to deal with a man who can look past the fact that, like, you know what, you're trans, but that's not who you are as a person. Like, I view you as feminine. Like, I view you as a woman. I can look past the fact of that. But if that man is solely seeking me out just because I have a penis, no, that's gay.
But can't you be a feminine man without transitioning to? I mean, I don't believe in
That's a gay
transitioning.
Let me
but
just ask you something really quick.
That's a gay man, not a trans.
No, I know people that aren't guys that aren't necessarily gay. That I mean, I know guys that are gay and very masculine, and I know guys that are straight and very feminine. Like Jeffree Star is a great example. I've always thought that stuff's based. If you like makeup, you like hair. I love that stuff. I can totally understand people doing that, but he
He's a gay
knows that
man.
he is not
Yeah.
a woman, no
Yeah,
matter what
he's
he
a
does.
gay man.
No, the
You know
way
what?
that
No,
he
that's actually really good that you-
partakes in makeup and hair, but knows that he's not.
That's good that
a
you
girl.
brought it up because honestly, like, I'm still even learning
Have
about
you heard what he said about trans?
No.
about all
Listen.
the genders or whatever. Like, honestly, because back in my day, like, I grew up on trans YouTube with where it's like you're either straight, gay, or trans.
Yeah. Gigi Gorgeous.
Yeah, and Gigi Gorgeous and Nikita came around.
I want you to
years.
consider something, all right? Because
But-
you're a trans woman, meaning that you were a man and you transitioned to a woman,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
I think that there's something more insidious going on that Billy could probably speak to much more knowledgeably than I can, which is the testosterone epidemic in our country, which I think is a factor in men that think that they're women. I think that because of the environmental factors, because of the food they're eating, because of the chemicals that are sprayed on the crops and in the environment, as well as many other factors that, like I said, Billy is much more knowledgeable on than I am, are a factor in very low testosterone in men. As a man, when I felt low in testosterone, I feel terrible. I feel like I
You
can't
want to be a woman?
no.
This is fact. There is an epidemic on testosterone, and I've always said this too. I always think that maybe with the stuff that they're spraying on the crops or whatever however they're GMOing our food, and I don't know. I've always thought that there's some conspiracy to them lacing all our food estrogen to. I don't know if that would lower testosterone, but it would definitely feminize the male. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this testosterone levels have fucking dropped like a dead bee. I don't know why, but there has to be an explanation.
No.
Okay, so what's the point?
But it could be contributing to it. And my point is that if you were to, what if you were feeling like, what if you were a man and you were feeling like you're a woman? What if instead of getting hormones to affirm what you thought in your head was true, instead you got hormones to affirm what your gender was at birth? What if you got testosterone and you felt more like a man? Do you think that would make a change in your life versus if you were at a low point in testosterone as a man
Interesting.
versus getting hormones as a woman to become a woman?
Not.
Into the mic.
Absolutely not. And I'm going to say this now. I'm so much more happier with myself since my transition and comfortable in
more
my
happier.
skin and everything because I did it for myself.
I'm happy for you for that.
And I've never felt more at peace and at one with myself. Now, ask me that before I was 19 years old when I started transitioning. I was depressed. I was unhappy with myself.
And that's my
everything
point.
like that. And I tried to be I even tried dating girls in middle school, I remember, but like I tried just to be a gay man.
Well, it's different than
I tried to do all of that.
Sexuality is different than gender.
Yeah,
right?
well, I know. But my point is that I tried to live like a man at one point. It's not like I just full on.
But you tried to, but
It's
what
not
I'm
like
saying
I
is that
full
your
on gave into
testosterone
it.
levels were so low that you couldn't
Not
feel like a
necessarily.
man.
How do
Not
you know her
necessarily.
testosterone levels were?
No.
You could have a point.
But
Men
what
don't
I'm
know
saying,
history is.
what I'm saying is that I tried to live like a gay man
What-
and as a man.
What is true about testosterone is that the saying your father was more man than you holds true. Testosterone levels have decreased, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your testosterone levels
Yeah.
were low. So we don't that doesn't always correlate.
Okay.
But in other words, no, I would have not been happy as a man. I genuinely don't know if I would be here.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you're here.
yeah, I'm thank you guys. But like I said, for a lot of people,
Thank you
think, like,
guys.
that's-
They always say I don't know if I would still be here, as if it wouldn't have still been a choice whether or not you were here. You basically saying you would have offed yourself. I don't understand what that brings to the conversation. I don't understand, as if you're saying that as if it was like stage 4 cancer or something. Like, it's not a disease. I mean, it's a mental disease, but it's not anything that's gonna kill you. You'd kill your. I mean, it's not anything that would kill you. You'd have to do that to yourself, and you shouldn't, obviously.
ways for us to do this kind of stuff. Technically it is one, but it's something that comes so naturally to us that we don't feel like it's a choice. Like this is something that came so natural to me. Like, look, ask any one of my babysitters. Look back at my home footage. Like I was fucking stealing my aunt's. She used to be a bartender at a strip club. I would walk around in her stripper heels because I used to love the femininity of it.
I think you were just a curious kid. Like, I think even little boys have done that. I did that shit as a kid. Just curious kid shit. That doesn't mean I was there was a woman trapped inside of my body, because there wasn't. I can't be anything but what I am. I don't understand this logic. I don't understand his thinking process.
Like that's all it is. Like it's something that came so natural to me and it did not feel forced. What felt forced was being 17, getting my senior portraits taken and having to cut all my hair off because I wanted to please my family. That felt forced. What felt forced was not being able to go by the name that I wanted to be in my high school yearbook. What felt forced was having to stand up in front of a Christian church and let my dad try to hook me up with some other little Christian girl there.
Yeah.
Because that felt forced. That stuff that feels forced.
I'm glad that you feel comfortable now and that you are here with us, because ultimately that's the most important thing. Life is sacred and you're loved. But to get back to the point we were talking about earlier, I don't think that it's right for children,
that was
and
never
you
the point.
and you
Can we get away
agree
from that?
with that.
He's going to go back to the children shit. That was never the point of the conversation. So can we please get away from that?
I want to make a
final
point.
point, and then we're gonna
And I have a final
attempt
point
to
too before we go.
wrap. Oh,
Yeah.
you want?
It's like a wrap up final point before we go.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we're gonna wrap.
Part of the reason I care about this is not, I don't want to be like hateful towards people, or like I don't want to make anybody feel badly about themselves. Okay. And Keeko, this point is addressed to you. Part of the reason why I care about this is because you said that you've come back to the church, and one of the things that we can obviously agree on is the value of Jesus, right? Yeah. Why did Jesus
See,
give his
she's so hard-headed. She's so hard-headed. She literally, that shows you right there. She doesn't want to agree with him upon anything that could essentially help him make a point. She doesn't care. She just does not want to agree with him. It's personal with her now. She doesn't give a fuck about the facts. She doesn't give a fuck about the conversation. She just wants to make him feel like he's wrong and he can't agree with shit that she said. Obviously, if you're back within the church, you should understand the value of Jesus. If it's a Christian church, at least you should, right? But she can't even agree with him upon that one simple point.
life on the cross?
For our sins.
For our sins. And there's a lot of different sins that preclude us from entering the kingdom of heaven, right? Ultimately, this ideology that's spreading throughout our society, one of the reasons why I have a problem with it is because many people, they ground their entire identity in whatever their sexuality or gender is, okay? And that identity, they see that as incompatible with the Bible and Christ, and a lot of them will go their entire lives without ever even looking at God, because they're like, well, God made me this way, so God obviously must have made a mistake, so screw Christianity, right? One of the things that Jesus said, people who will not inherit the kingdom of heaven are the sexually immoral, and those that are effeminate as well. There's a lot of different categories: idolaters, adulterers, like there's a billion different categories. Sexual immorality, according to Christ and his apostles and God throughout the Old Testament, this covers everything that is outside of heterosexual sex between a man and a woman within marriage. Any sex that happens outside of that precludes a person from going to the kingdom of heaven.
So you're not going to heaven?
Well, my sins have been paid for by the blood of Christ, and I've repented of this. Hold on.
Can she not do the same?
I've repented of the sins that I had. Okay. The people who are continuing to engage in sexual immorality, who reject the grace that God gave us, like they're not going to heaven. And I want to see you get to heaven. Like I don't hate you as a person. I love you as a person. I want to see you get to heaven. I want to see everybody who's trans and gay. I want to see all of them. I want to see all of them go to heaven, right? But there's a contradiction here between what you're saying is okay and what God said is okay. And this is why it's important to me. And this ideology will lead millions of people to hell. And I don't want to see that happen.
Okay.
God, that was just such a beautiful, brilliant, elegant explanation. I don't know. I couldn't have said it in better words myself. And to be honest, I'm maybe not even that educated when it comes to the things that he's speaking on, when it comes to the specific scripture that he's speaking on. But he just, oh my God, how he formulated that whole entire rumble sentence. It wasn't a rumble sentence, but y'all know what I mean. Like he just destroyed her so elegantly.
You finished? All right. So my wrap-up statement was basically, I will continue to do this, come up on this.
No response to what he said. Just bypass it. Don't acknowledge anything he said. You can't make this up.
Podcast, any podcast I have.
Sorry, hold on, Keeko.
Eve donated $200.31. Mutilation shouldn't be given to neither mentally ill individuals nor children as a means to obtain acceptance. The sick should seek cure. The innocent should seek guidance. Permanent decisions shouldn't be made for or by vulnerable individuals.
We already spent enough time
Eve,
on that.
thank you for that.
Yeah. Anyways,
Appreciate it.
Amen.
Wrap it up.
I will continue to come on this podcast. I don't care how many people want to call me the T slur, say all the debates of how if I'm transgender or not. You guys can do all of that. I will continue to fight for people like Allie, who I believe have a right to live the life that they rightfully deserve and feel like they were born into. Because you know what? It doesn't fucking affect me. I don't sleep bad at night because Allie is on hormones or any other trans woman or trans man out there. I know how to mind my fucking business and live my life. So I will continue to use.
See, the effects that these guys are advocating for are on a global or societal level. She's speaking about herself personally. Nobody cares what you do personally. But when it comes to how it affects society, the society that we all have to share, of course, we're all going to have to say in what is acceptable and what is not.
My platform and my voice to speak for people who can't, because my Jesus, I believe in acceptance.
Everybody can speak for themselves. People who can't. Like, shut up.
Tolerance. I know that
Jesus is not tolerant.
Let me finish. Just how you repented your sins, she can go and repent hers too and get into the gates of heaven as well. So we should all just live our lives, mind our business.
So you just, in the same breath, said that you were going to keep advocating for all that stuff. and then concluded with she can repent for her sins too, thus acknowledging that the way in which she chose to live the sin. All right, make it make sense.
As long as we're not hurting somebody else or anyone
So
else's
you're
happiness.
acknowledging that she would need to in order to get into
Thank you.
No, I'm saying in your mind, in your opinion, in your rightful opinion.
I'm just
Now she's saying in her mind, in her like, Jesus Christ, these podcasts are so hard to watch.
what the Bible says.
Okay, according to the Bible, she can repent and still go to heaven.
I think we're past this. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
can we
just
fucking go home now?
necessarily, yes, but I also just want to add that I don't think it's necessarily just living your life undisturbed. Like, that's a very libertarian take. If you want to dress and act how you want and live your best life, good. A miserable individual does not make for a happy society. But there are places where it is affecting people, like what you agreed was wrong, that if men are on these dating apps and they match with somebody who does not openly admit that they're trans before going on a date, that is hurting men. And with women, I am not okay with transgenders using the women's bathroom.
Yes.
That is wrong.
Yes.
That is wrong. It's
Why are you
women's
gonna bring up a
spaces.
whole nother topic when
Women,
we're
because
trying to
that
go
is something
home
that
right
affects
now?
me, women in sports,
I know,
women
that's
and
a whole
men in
other
You
women's
say,
spaces.
oh, we're trying to go home right now.
No,
Why are
I'm
you
trying to
bringing
go
up
home
this
too. We have a
important thing that
2-hour
affects
drive
people?
to LA, but this stuff matters. It's not that trans doesn't hurt anybody.
like wrapping
It's
up this
hurting
whole
women
other
like Riley
topic.
Gaines. It's giving rewards to people like Leah Thomas who stole from women. It's hurting all these people who are getting into Dylan.
probably agree with
I
you
won't
a
go
lot, but
on that.
I
I'm not
wanna
going to
fucking
pull
go
that.
Do we all understand? Like, do we all see how nobody cut her off? Everybody let her do her little rambling, but the moment that anybody with an opposing opinion wanted to speak, she had an issue, wanted to wrap it up and go home because this important detail that might affect people's lives is not important because we're trying to wrap it up and go home. Leave. You go home. Go home.
Michael
Like, it's
Matt
12
Walsh.
Listen.
It's
But it does
12:30, let's
affect
not bring up
us,
other
and
points.
it's not just live your best
Let's be
life.
closing
It's live your
statements.
life and use your own bathroom and let women have women's spaces and
Like,
let
you're gonna
trans
say this, we
individuals
just drop
live
it
their
and go?
life.
I just want to
Because
say
you're
one
saying,
thing.
you're saying
matters.
you're going to continue fighting for it, and she's
I'm
raising
going to say
an
stay out of my
important point.
bathroom and stay out of my women's spaces, but
Go
live your
ahead,
best
dude.
life
Go
because
ahead.
there's an important distinction between live your life in a way that doesn't
Can you
affect
can we move
people,
on?
and then there's ways that affect people,
don't
like
like
women who no
Jesus.
longer can
Is
get
she gonna
opportunities.
shut up? Like, why is she gonna let her talk or is she gonna keep talking? Like, Jesus, shut up. You see how these people act? They're so emotional. They want respect and they want this, that, and the third for themselves, but are not willing to give the respect that they're asking for, not willing to give these same benefits to regular people that they're asking for in their irregular lifestyles.
Opportunities in sports because
Like,
men are
it's hella
dominating
late
women's
now.
sports and using the
12:30.
locker rooms and
Here,
using the
just can you
gyms.
listen to Deborah?
All of these
Yeah.
things
And
are
just
wrong.
walk out. Just
These
walk
take
out.
away
Just
from
walk out.
women.
Just walk out.
So
She's making
It's
important
Ryan's
points.
podcast, not yours.
Now you see how emotionally erratic she is. Did anybody say anything directly to her to trigger her? No, but for some reason she wants her beliefs to be the only ones that get spoken at the end of the podcast so she can leave on whatever mark that she's trying to leave. Anybody else that had an opposing opinion, shut up, right? Like, you see how these people are. They want respect so bad, so freaking bad, but are not willing to dish out the respect that they can keep begging for. Interesting.
She's
You've been
making
letting him
important
run you
points.
all podcast,
Just
Ryan,
walk
by the
out.
way. You get a lot of
Because he
comments on
invited me to
he's been
co-host,
running you.
Keeko.
Okay,
He invited me
you're
to
a co-host.
co-host.
Say a co.
Let her make her point, and if you don't want to hear it, then just walk out. You don't have to stay. Nobody's keeping you against your will.
but I don't want to.
Look, I
If
personally
you hear things you don't like, you're just going to
I
talk
agree
over
with
people
her. I
because
actually
you
probably agree with
can't
her
just
statements.
have a
I just want to
conversation.
go home. We're doing wrap-up statements.
Then
'cause
go
No, she agrees with her, but she wants to go home. Shut up. Go home.
it's
home.
12:30.
Then go home.
yes, that was my wrap-up statement.
That's not a wrap-up.
If you
that's
want to
that's the
live a
starting of
life
whole
that
other
doesn't
conversation.
affect people in your sense, you want to wear a dress in your daytime, that is fine with me. Like, I'm not going to say do that, but like, that is in not hurting people. But there is a lot of the trans ideology that is taking away from women, that is hurting women, like women's spaces, women's sports, women's locker rooms, women's dressing rooms. It is actually affecting women. Riley Gaines was just beat up, literally giving a speech about this. So it's not just la di da di da, do whatever you want. People are being affected, and raising up these trans rights is taking away from women's rights, and I will not stand for that. But I also stand for liberty and freedom, and there is a balance, and it's a very thin line. And we don't just go, oh, do whatever you want, cross the line. We need to protect women and also allow people to live liberty
Correct.
and enjoy their freedoms.
Correct.
And protect kids
So,
too.
And protect
I have a
kids.
question for
Do we
you.
all get a wrap-up statement?
So, honestly, like I respect your opinion because
I'm gonna try to wrap very soon.
110% completely agree. There's a lot of things that trans women don't go through that cis women would. I completely 110% understand.
And then they talking about some damn cis women. If there's already a prefix on trans women, Then why do we need a prefix on regular women? Just call them women. Why? I never understood that. They made they gave regular people prefixes so that they didn't feel irregular about their own prefix, which would essentially say that they're not what they're saying that they are. You saying that you're a trans woman is just basically saying I'm a man that's projecting myself, portraying myself as a woman, and vice versa, right? But if you just say I'm a woman, that would say I was born this way. I'm a woman, right? So they had to put the prefix cis on it as if it was something that you chose and not something that was God given.
But with that being said, wouldn't you rather accept women, trans women, into your circle to be like, you know what? Yeah, like we fight for the exact same things. We fight for everything. Like a lot of the time, 90% of the time, you know, with the exception of sports and everything, because I'm not too educated on that, trans women just want to blend.
But I don't want to be blended.
Look at hold on.
We just want to blend
I want y'all to watch her fidgeting over here, geeking off the whatever
Except for
she's on.
sports and
She's
everything,
so
'cause I'm not
upset right here in the
educated on
corner. She is so
Trans
upset
women
that
just
she's over there
wanna
fidgeting. Like, just leave. Just
blend.
get out. Like, she is not okay. Something is up. Like, just leave. She needs to go hit her little vape and whatever the fuck. Just go ahead and do it. You fiending.
But I don't want to be blended. Sorry.
We
Finish
just want
your
to
sentence.
blend and be with you guys, you know. And that's for me speaking for myself.
Straight into the mic, please.
I just want to be able to be normal. Like that's all I want to do. Like I want to go into the restroom, be able to use the restroom and whatever, you know. Like I just want, and like I said, I completely respect the fact that I'm never gonna understand a lot of the things that cis women go through when it comes to, you know, things that they go through with their bodies or certain discrimination issues, everything like that. I'm not gonna understand that the same way that you wouldn't understand, you know, like my dysphoria
Absolutely.
with everything like that, you know. But at the end of the day, wouldn't you want to have someone in your corner who is, you know, being like, yes, like we stand
Land
for
the
the
fucking
same,
plane.
not everything the same, but similar things.
So I hear you on that. And just off the cusp, I want to say that I do have deep respect for you. You've come here and you've presented your points and you've held your logic in a way that I agree with a lot of the things that you say. And I don't think you have your heads in the clouds. I think your logic is good and solid. And so I have respect for that. But in terms of like wanting to blend, I understand that on your side, but women fought very hard to have women's rights and women's safe places. And I don't think someone's wanting
Stop
to
playing with her.
blend supersedes my wanting to be away from a man
Go
in the
back.
restroom because someone's wanting to women's rights and women's safe places. And I don't think someone's wanting to blend supersedes my wanting to be away from a man in the restroom because in my eyes, I can respect you. I can tell you my favorite makeup products. I can show you my favorite places to shop. But at the end of the day, I don't want someone who was ever a man using the space that I feel unsafe in the same way that I would not feel comfortable getting undressed around a lesbian, in the same way that a trans man in that sense. So women's spaces should be protected at large. And I think, I just don't think.
So you want her to use the men's restroom?
Everybody protect that woman that just spoke. Not the bimbo right here, but the one before her.
I think there should be a third restroom.
But until that happens, you think right now she should use the men's restroom?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, but
one of the problems.
But no, let me ask something before you answer that question. Wouldn't you think that it would jeopardize my safety though, walking into?
But wouldn't it jeopardize my safety?
See, thank you. She's already about to say it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Men identifying as women come into the bathroom and rape women under the guise of transgender.
But
People
bingo,
who are not
exactly.
transgenders. There's
How-
people who manipulate and they take what you've gone through and struggled through your life and they take that to their
I feel like it's not a
advantage.
closing
And they say,
statement 'cause we're
oh, I'm
having
going to put a dress on and go in the bathroom and pretend I'm
you.
trans. And they haven't actually struggled with gender dysphoria and gone through the problems. And they're taking advantage of the situation. And that's the women that I'm trying to protect. There was a 14-year-old who was in a bathroom at her high school and her dad went by
Let's
a
use
trans-
essay.
Sorry. I'm so
use
sorry
essay.
about that. I forgot that was about
No, but
yes.
to even further bolster her point too, like I've seen a number of articles where like men will get convicted of crimes and then they will identify as women right before they go to trial and then they will get sent to women's prisons and they will grape the women that are there at the prison
and impregnate them
and impregnate them.
That is a problem.
Multiple women, right? Like this. I understand that like you want to blend and you want to like be around women and all that kind of stuff, but like
Wait, you're leaving, Keeko?
I'm not rage quitting. It's just it's 12:30.
You can admit it.
I'm hungry. No, I'm not upset at all. It's just this is why I was saying it's not a wrap up statement because we're about to get unload a whole new conversation.
Okay,
we're about to be here
then
until
wait,
1 a.m.
Really quick.
You guys
Wait,
gracefully
Keeko,
dip
really
out.
two things really quick before you leave. Two things, okay?
Like my boyfriend is like, I was supposed to be home by 12.
Do you want to watch a tape clip before you leave?
Not really.
Okay, here, let me try to lighten the mood. Chase as a Christian.
The mood's fine. I'm not leaving because I'm mad. It's just it's 12:30
I'd like to stay
a.m. Like
by.
I was
Hold
not
on,
planning
hold
to
on.
be here for
Do you
this
wanna-
Let
long.
her leave.
Should we
I
talk
have to,
about
like,
abortion?
this-
Do you want to talk about abortion really quick? Just throwing it out. Keeko, don't.
Bye, Keeko. Nice speaking with you tonight. I was being serious.
I'm not, because I really thought I could get past it, but
Well,
I just.
We're gonna say that video. All right, man. Y'all see how these people just get the rage quitting when they can't explain their point. I have nothing further to say. That was the most ludicrous conversation I've ever listened to. The fact that we're in an era where we can't decipher definitively what a man and a woman is and what they should or shan't be allowed to do in terms of what bathroom to use and what bathroom not to use, what sports leagues to play in. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. There's just no way we could be in 2023 and the United States has just lost this complete shit. I don't understand it. It's a disgrace to this nation. It's a disgrace to any religion. It's just God did not intend for things to be like this, but they are. So man has been led astray by man because this shit is ridiculous. It's your boy King Katumwa, man. We out.